One day, a woman unexpectedly found a red bowl by the riverbank. She took the bowl back home, and whenever she used it to serve rice, the rice would automatically multiply, never running out. The woman knew exactly why this was happening. She was certain that this was a gift from the lost house. According to the legend, deep in the forest, there was a house called the Lost House. This house had its own consciousness. Even when no one was living inside, the items in the house would remain tidy. A few days ago, the woman had accidentally entered this house, but she didn't steal anything from the house, nor did she enjoy the delicious food on the table. Because she didn't covet anything, the Lost House had rewarded her with the red bowl. This bowl would provide her with endless rice and bring good luck. From then on, the woman's life got better and better, and not long after, her family became the wealthiest in the town. Centuries passed, and one day, the old grandmother told the legend of the Lost House to her two granddaughters. However, the two girls didn't believe the story. They thought the Lost House didn't exist, and they were also wary of their grandmother, because she wasn't their biological grandmother. They had only met her at a shelter. The younger sister, Jenny, had lost both of her parents, and had no choice but to seek refuge with other relatives. But her relatives died in an earthquake, and the older sister had no blood relation to her either. But she still chose to help Jenny. That's when Mary couldn't take it anymore, and decided to leave her own family. Mary had met the kind grandmother at the shelter, and this grandmother took them both in, bringing them to a beautiful home. The house seemed to be deep in the mountains, but it was actually in the middle of the sea. So the three non-biological family members began living together. The reason the grandmother told them the story of the lost house was because the current house they were living in was, in fact, the lost house. When they arrived at the house, Mary immediately sensed something was off, even though she had broken a window. The next night, the window was restored on its own. No one had done anything, but the bathtub had warm water, and the items in the house were always tidy and clean. The grandmother noticed Mary's confusion, and explained everything to her. Mary was still reluctant to believe it, so she decided to test the truth of it. She asked the house for some water, with ice cubes.
氷も欲しいな。
This convinced Mary, and she realized everything was too strange. She quickly grabbed Jenny and tried to leave. Although Jenny wasn't Mary's biological sister, Mary still cared for her deeply. Jenny had endured a lot of hardship, so Mary wanted to take her away and live together. But during their escape, Jenny fell down, and Mary hurriedly helped her up. However, Jenny seemed to have a different idea. The grandmother arrived and reassured Mary, telling her not to worry. She said that the lost house wouldn't harm anyone, and it only wanted to help those without a home. Jenny then pulled Mary back inside. Mary realized that Jenny liked this place, and reluctantly stayed. She slowly accepted the fact, and tried to find a way to adapt to it. That day, the three of them went shopping together, and in the evening, they enjoyed a meal cooked by the grandmother. Even though they weren't related by blood, they lived together like a real family. Mary found a new job, and Jenny continued her studies. Their lives gradually returned to normal, and they thought everything would remain peaceful. But one day, when Jenny woke up, she saw her grandmother surrounded by Kappa. The reason the grandmother had found the lost house was because she was a spirit priestess who guarded the mountains. Recently, the seal at sea seemed to have weakened, so the grandmother summoned the Kappa to investigate. The sisters were amazed by the grandmother's power, and her ability to summon Kappa and guardian spirits. The Kappa told the grandmother that the seal at sea had been broken. The grandmother decided to take the sisters to a safer place to live. It turned out that the sea held a sea monster seal beneath it, a creature that used illusions to make people fall into